Hey y'all, Sarah here. I am out in the garden today. It's Sunday, and Sunday is generally the day for me that I can do garden work. As you can see behind me here, the garden is looking a little rough. It has not gotten much attention this week or the last week. But it would be fun to hang out together today in the garden and just do a few chores out here to tidy things up. Anyway, come along today and let's do a few things out here in the garden. So, can you tell a difference? I hope so. Everything looks much neater to me. Definitely feels better to be out here when the grass is a little more tidied up and there's not so many tall weeds and things to get tripped up on. So I'm starting here with the tomatoes, and I'm picking tomatoes. I just have a few cherry tomatoes so far. I'm picking tomatoes and I'm saving them right now. So I'm saving them in a 2.5 gallon bag in my freezer. I'm just about full on one 2.5 gallon bag, so I'll start another one probably today with these. But what I'm saving them for, I have a canning, thank you Rooster. I have a canning project in mind that I want to do this year, which is some spaghetti sauce with meat that it would be so nice to put up for Alan and I. That way when I want quick dinner or something like that, I'll have some of that. It takes about 30 pounds of tomatoes to do the batch that is in the ball canning book. So I'm just saving for now, like I said. So let's just harvest along and we'll take some of these off. Even if they're just not quite ripe yet, I take them inside and let them ripen in there, because if they're out here, they have a tendency to get pecked or anything once they start to get a blush on them and start to ripen at all. So we'll take them in where they can be safe and they can finish ripening inside. Guys, I have one more task that I can probably bear to do out here today, and that's going to be harvesting these peppers. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of these off. Can you see that? Maybe not. Lots of cayennes in here. So I'm just going to go down the line here and get all the peppers off of these and get a little bit better shot here. And then we can take them inside and do some things inside that will be a little bit cooler than being out here, quite frankly. You guys, it's hot. And it smells so peppery over here. You could let these dry on the vine, or on the plant. It's not even a vine. My brain is overheated. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Should have got out here and done this morning. I didn't do it.
Well, we made it into the kitchen with all the freshly picked tomatoes. And I'm just washing these up now. All I do is add a splash of vinegar to the water when I wash them. That just takes care of anything that's on the surface of them and keeps them from rotting, keeps them a little bit nicer. You can see we got a pretty good harvest today, some ripe and some that need to sit on the counter for a few days and continue to ripen.
Those will just go straight into my freezer bag now and straight into the freezer, and then we'll wait until I am ready to do my canning project. The other ones I'm going to put on a towel. These ones that are kind of half ripe, half not, I'll put on a towel over there in the windowsill, as I said, and get them just sitting there drying and ripening for the next few days. Hey y'all, we're back in the kitchen, and I thought that we would go ahead and get these cayenne peppers made into hot sauce today. This is a good project for a rainy day, and a rainy day is what we have today. It was supposed to be 98 degrees today and like partly cloudy, but then around 11 a.m. this morning it just started pouring. So, and it has still been raining. We'll take it, right? It was so hot and dry yesterday, and right now it's 64 degrees outside. That's insane. What I have here is those peppers that we picked yesterday and a few from the last time that I picked about 2 weeks ago that are on the top here. You can see they're already dried out a little bit. The ones that are a little bit older are just a little bit dry already. So what I need to do first is wash them. I haven't washed any of them. At that same time, I'm gonna go ahead and pop the stems off off. That way everything is destemmed once it comes out of the water, and then everything can go straight into the pot at that point. So the peppers and all, seeds and everything can go into the pot. That's no problem with this. It's going to be a hot sauce. So hopefully we get some heat in this sauce. And then it's only a few more simple ingredients that go into this hot sauce. It's a really basic recipe. It's delicious though. If you like pepper sauce, this is a perfect one, and it is so easy to make. So let's get started.
Okay, I just want to quickly say, definitely wear gloves if you're doing this project. You will regret it if you don't.
I've got my peppers with all the stems removed, and they're in the pot here. It's just going onto the burner. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the burner on and get into here. This is, the recipe calls for 12 ounces of hot peppers. This is 24 ounces, so I'm gonna make a double batch today. So I've doubled everything. This is a simple recipe from scratchpantry.com. I love her, and I love her recipes. It's Becky at Acre Homestead on YouTube. You're gonna love her too. If you ever pop over there, you'll love her. So this recipe is really simple. It's so basic. So into this pot is first going to go four cups of vinegar. This is just white vinegar. There goes that. Things are about to get really smelly in this kitchen. You're gonna feel it in your nose if you take this recipe on. Next up is gonna go 4 teaspoons of salt. So I'll do a tablespoon plus a little bit more. Next is some lemon juice. We need 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then 2 teaspoons of oil. I have this light tasting olive oil, which I like to use for things like this. Just when you don't need to have the flavor of oil there. So this is a pretty good one for that. So what did I say? 2 teaspoons of oil. I have half a cup of sugar here. We're gonna save this until after we blend and then strain the sauce. We'll add the white sugar at that point and boil it again for 20 minutes. So, but we'll hold off on that for now. The next things that need to go in the pot are onions and garlic. So I have some homegrown garlic, and I'm gonna get that. You don't even have to chop it. You can just cut it in half because everything's going to go into the blender at some point. So the onions, I'm just gonna roughly chop them, and the garlic, I'll just cut it in half, and it will go straight into the pot. We're at a rolling boil here, so we just want this to boil until it gets nice and soft, so everything in there will be soft and cooked, and then we can blend it up really, really easily. All right, so the rain has finally stopped here for a little bit, so I thought we'd go out and check on the chickens for a minute and see how everybody is faring today. Also, my neighbor brought, this is what I have in my basket here, some corn that was left on the stalk for too long, so he said it's really tough, but the chickens will love it, so we'll put that out for them to have a little snacky in the meantime here. I think it's gonna take them a minute to figure this corn out. You can see it's really dry, but they eat dry corn all the time, so but it'll give them something to do, something to peck at for a little while. Pretty dry stuff. But my neighbor said he tried to salvage it. He tried to eat one, but it was like so tough that he couldn't even chew it. Gotta be a chicken to enjoy this. Okay, so while this is finishing boiling, I've got about 5 minutes left that I want to let it boil to make sure that everything is super soft and tender. That way it'll blend up really, really easily. But while that's doing that, I want to go ahead and get the bottles that I'm going to be using into some hot water. That way I can boil them before we bottle everything up. So I've got my, here goes Clark, he just lets himself in. I've got my big pot here, and I'm gonna put those bottles into there, fill it with water, and let them start to boil and get ready.
Everything is nicely cooked and soft at this point, so we're going to blend it up. And whatever blender you have is totally fine. Make sure you do it in smaller batches. Don't fill the whole thing up because this is super hot at this point. You don't want to overdo it. And then just strain it through a wire sieve.
My eyes are actually burning. This might be pretty hot. I haven't tasted it yet. I'm going to put the sugar into it and get it, let the sugar melt in first. And then I'm going to taste it because this actually might be very spicy.
Okay, well, you guys are about to find out that this is in fact very spicy, and you're going to see my true reaction to this because I was not expecting the heat level that this actually has. So this is a level up from last year's sauce for sure. Last year's sauce I called kinda hot sauce. This year is extremely hot.
Taste. Here she goes. Are we going to like it or not? It's real hot. It's real hot. Ooh, we might have to tone it down some. Ooh, it's pretty hot. All right, so this sauce is just about done. What I think it needs after I've tasted it a couple of times, first of all, it is hot, but it has a good flavor to it. The only thing that I think it needs is some more salt. So you can adjust the seasonings on something like this, even if it's going to be bottled or canned or whatever. You just wouldn't want to mess with the acidity of it by adding less vinegar or lemon juice, that type of thing. You wouldn't want to mess with that, and keep the ratios of those the same as what is called for in the recipe. But I am going to add about 2 teaspoons probably more salt. I think that will help. It just needs a little bit more flavor rather than just heat. So we'll stir that through, and then I'm gonna let this boil for 15 minutes. So that is what's gonna make this safe to be bottled and be shelf stable in those hot sauce style bottles, because those you can't water bath can. They don't have a lid that is, they don't have a lid that is specifically like watertight. So that's why you want to boil this sauce for another 15 minutes once you've got it done. That's going to make sure that there's nothing dangerous in there, you know, no botulism spores or anything crazy. That's just an extra layer of protection. And then I'm standing over this and I'm gonna, it's so hot. I'm breathing it. Okay, we gotta get away from the pot so that I can actually breathe. Okay, so boil it for 15 more minutes. That will make it nice and safe to bottle it up, and it can sit on the shelf at that point for 18 months. So that's great. This is nearly done. We'll just bottle it and then seal up those bottles and we'll be good to go.
I never actually found the best perfect method for bottling this up without making a mess, but it all got into the bottles one way or another. And then I just screwed the lids on, put the little shrink wrap covers on, plunged them into some simmering water, and shrunk them down.
So our kitchen work is done for the day. The hot sauce is done. Doesn't it look great? So professional, right? In these little bottles. So I have had such a good time having you here today though, and yesterday, right? We did a little bit of garden cleanup and that type of thing yesterday together, and I'm so appreciative of you spending your time watching this video. And if you enjoyed the video, I would ask maybe you'll give it a thumbs up down there, or consider subscribing. That way that you won't miss any of my future videos either. So again, it's been such a nice day having you here in the kitchen with me, and I hope to see you again next time.